Chapter 10. The Fatherhood of Man. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. Ephesians 6 verse, for don't you love us? I asked my dad, my 8-year-old self standing on the driveway of our home in Roswell, New Mexico. Those words came from a deep place of frustration and longing. I had been trying for what felt like forever to get my dad to play ball with me. He was my hero, the man I admired and looked up to, but at that moment, I couldn't help but feel that he was too busy for me. My dad had always been a larger-than-life figure in my eyes. He wasn't just my father. He was a pastor, a man of God who had dedicated his life to serving others. His days were filled with meetings, hospital visits, counseling sessions, weddings, funerals, you name it. He was involved in it. He was even working with other pastors in the city to start a Christian school, which meant even more demands on his time. There was always someone who needed his help, and I understood that, but at the same time, I needed him too. I can't right now, he said as he got into the car. I'll play with you when I come home. That was a familiar phrase, one I had heard many times before. My heart sank as I watched him drive away, and I blurted out without thinking, you always say that, but then do other things. I wasn't trying to make him feel bad, but it was how I felt. I was desperate for his attention, and it seemed like there was always something more important than playing ball with me. I ran back inside the house, into my room, and cried. I don't remember how long I sat there, tears streaming down my face, feeling the weight of disappointment and longing. But what I do remember is the sound of my dad's voice in the living room, talking to my mom, and then a knock on my bedroom door. In walked my dad, still dressed in his suit and tie. He sat next to me on the bed and gently said, Look, son, I'm sorry. I haven't been home for you and your sister like I should have been. I'm going to step down from a few things and make more time for you both. He wiped the tears from my face, and I looked up at him, my eyes red from crying but filled with hope. Then he said something that made me smile. Let me change my clothes, and we'll go get some ice cream because ice cream always makes things better. That day was a turning point in my relationship with my dad. We spent the rest of the afternoon playing football in the yard, and for the first time in a while, I felt like I had my dad's full attention. That memory has stayed with me all my life. It taught me one of the most important lessons I would ever learn. Being a father isn't just about providing or doing good things for others. It's about being there for your children. Even though I would later find myself repeating some of the same patterns in my own life, that day with my dad became a touchstone for me. It was a reminder of the importance of fatherhood, and it gave me something to look back on whenever I felt myself being pulled away from my own family. In this chapter, we'll explore the significance of fatherhood, the impact it has on our children, and how we can leave a lasting, godly legacy for the next generation. Understanding the importance of fatherhood is one of the most significant roles a man can have. We often hear about the roles of leaders, workers, pastors, and providers, but being a father surpasses all of these in terms of influence. As fathers, we hold the power to shape the lives of our children, to mold their character, and to set a foundation for their future. The way we father our children can echo for generations, influencing not just our own children, but also our grandchildren and beyond. For years, society has underestimated the role of fathers. While much attention has been given to mothers, and rightly so, the influence of fathers has often been pushed to the background. In the media and popular culture, fathers are sometimes depicted as aloof, uninvolved, or incompetent, only good for financial support or for playing the occasional game of catch. But the truth is, fathers have a profound impact on their children's development, emotionally, spiritually, and even physically. The presence of a father can shape a child's understanding of love, discipline, authority, and faith. Research shows that children who grow up with engaged and loving fathers are more likely to thrive in all areas of life, from academic success to mental health. A father's love provides a sense of security, confidence, and identity that helps children navigate the complexities of life. For us as Christian fathers, the responsibility is even greater. God has entrusted us with the task of not only raising our children to be good citizens, but also discipling them to be followers of Christ. We are called to bring our children up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. This means more than just correcting behavior. It means shaping hearts, teaching them to love God, and showing them how to live lives that honor Him. Fatherhood is not just a biological function. It's a spiritual calling. God, our Heavenly Father, sets the ultimate example of what fatherhood should look like. He is patient, loving, merciful, and just. He disciplines us when we go astray, but He always does so with our best interests at heart. As earthly fathers, we are called to reflect God's love and character in the way we raise our children. This is a high calling, but it's one that comes with immense rewards, not just for us, but for our children and future generations. Building strong relationships with my children, one of the greatest gifts we can give our children, is a strong, healthy relationship with us. As fathers, we are called to be more than just authority figures or disciplinarians. We are called to be active participants in our children's lives. Building a strong relationship with our children requires time, intentionality, and a willingness to invest in their interests, emotions, and spiritual growth. My relationship with my dad wasn't perfect. He was a busy man, and there were times when I felt like he wasn't there for me as much as I needed him to be. But that day when he canceled his meeting to spend time with me showed me how much he cared. It wasn't just about the football game or the ice cream. It was about the message he sent. You are important to me. Our children and grandchildren need to hear that message loud and clear. They need to know that we value them, that we're not just putting up with them, but that we genuinely enjoy spending time with them. This doesn't happen by accident. It requires intentional effort on our part. It means setting aside time to be with them, even when we're tired, busy, or preoccupied. It means making their interests a priority, even if they're not always aligned with our own. When my daughters were younger, there were times when I didn't feel like I had the energy to engage after a long day. But I made a decision early on that I didn't want them to feel the same way I had felt when my dad was always too busy. I didn't want them to feel like they were competing for my attention with everything else going on in my life. So I committed to being there for them, even when it was inconvenient or when I felt drained. And looking back, I'm so glad I did. The memories we created during those times are priceless, and they form the foundation of our relationship, one that still thrives now as they've grown into adults. Building a strong relationship with our children also means being emotionally available. It's easy to be physically present, but emotionally distant. Our children need us to engage with them on a deeper level, to listen to their thoughts, dreams, fears, and struggles. They need to know that we're a safe place where they can express themselves without fear of judgment or rejection. In today's world, our children face pressures and challenges that are far greater than what we experienced growing up. Social media, peer pressure, academic expectations, and the constant barrage of negative influences can leave them feeling overwhelmed and isolated. As fathers, we have the opportunity to be a stabilizing force in their lives. We can offer them the wisdom, guidance, and love they need to navigate these challenges. One way we can build a strong relationship with our children is by being intentional about quality time. This doesn't always have to involve grand gestures or elaborate plans. Sometimes, the most meaningful moments come from the simplest activities: playing catch in the yard, sitting down for a family meal, or having a heart-to-heart conversation before bed. The key is to be fully present in those moments, showing our children that they have our undivided attention. Another important aspect of building a strong relationship is through affirmation. Our children need to hear that we believe in them, that we see the good in them, and that we're proud of who they're becoming. Words of affirmation can have a powerful impact on their self-esteem and sense of identity. When we take the time to encourage and uplift them, we are speaking life into their hearts. Ultimately, building a strong relationship with our children comes down to one simple principle: love. When our children know that we love them unconditionally, sacrificially, and consistently, it creates a bond that cannot easily be broken. They will look to us not just as their fathers, but as their friends, mentors, and biggest supporters. Discipling and mentoring the next generation as fathers, we are not only responsible for providing for our children's physical needs, we are also responsible for their spiritual development. Discipling and mentoring our children, and even preparing our grandchildren for the future, is one of the most important aspects of fatherhood. It's our job to teach them about God, to guide them in their faith, and to model what it looks like to live a life that honors Him. Proverbs 22 verse 6 reminds us, "Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it." This verse underscores the importance of laying a strong spiritual foundation for our children. The lessons we teach them about God, faith, and morality will stay with them long after they've left our homes. As fathers, we have the opportunity to shape the next generation by teaching them the truths of Scripture, leading them in prayer, and encouraging them to develop a personal relationship with God. One of the most effective ways we can disciple our children is through modeling our faith. Our children are always watching us, and the way we live our lives will speak louder than any words we say. If we want our children to grow up with strong faith, we need to show them what it looks like to trust God, to serve others, and to walk in obedience to His Word. Discipleship isn't just about formal Bible studies or Sunday school lessons. It's about the everyday moments where we have the opportunity to teach our children about God's love and faithfulness. Whether it's talking about a Bible verse at the dinner table, praying together before bed, or sharing how God has worked in our lives, we can weave spiritual lessons into the fabric of our daily lives. Being present and engaged in my children's lives, one of the greatest challenges fathers face is a temptation to be physically present but emotionally distant. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that just being in the same room as our children is enough. But our sons and daughters need more than our physical presence. They need our engagement. Being present and engaged in our children's lives means actively participating in their world. It means showing up for their significant life moments, whether the school event, a big career decision, or their marriage. However, it also means being there for the everyday moments, helping with practical advice, mentoring, or just sitting down to have a meaningful conversation about their day. Our children need to know that we're not just there to provide for them, but that we're genuinely interested in their lives and what matters to them. One of the ways we can stay engaged is by putting away distractions. In today's world, it's easy to be constantly distracted by work, technology, or even our own hobbies. But when we're with our children, we need to make a conscious effort to give them our full attention. This means putting down our phones, turning off the TV, and focusing on what they're saying and doing. When our children and grandchildren see that we're fully engaged, it communicates that they're important to us and that we value our time with them. Being emotionally present also means more than just saying the right words. It's about empathy, listening, and validating their feelings, even when they're young and their problems seem small in the grand scheme of life. Sometimes, what may seem like a trivial issue to us can be a huge burden on their heart. I found that some of the most impactful conversations I've had with my children began with me simply sitting down, taking a deep breath, and asking, "What's going on in your world today?" When we're emotionally present, we're building a connection with our children that will carry them through the ups and downs of life. They learn that we're not just there to provide solutions, but we're there to walk through life's challenges with them. This builds trust, and trust is a cornerstone of any strong relationship. Leaving a godly legacy as fathers, one of our greatest responsibilities is to leave a godly legacy for our children and now our grandchildren. The impact we have on their lives will extend far beyond our time on this earth. The values we instill in them, the lessons we teach them, and the example we set will shape not only their lives, but also the lives of future generations. Leaving a godly legacy means living a life that reflects Christ. It means prioritizing our faith, our family, and our integrity above all else. It means showing our children what it looks like to love God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to love others as ourselves. When we live this way, we leave a lasting impression that will influence them for years to come. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day responsibilities of fatherhood and lose sight of the bigger picture. But as fathers, we need to keep our eyes on a long-term goal, raising children and grandchildren who love and serve the Lord. This requires us to be intentional about how we spend our time, how we invest in their spiritual growth, and how we model what it means to follow Christ. The privilege of fatherhood is one of the greatest privileges a man can have. It's a role that comes with immense responsibility, but also with incredible rewards. As fathers, we have the opportunity to shape the lives of our children, to guide them in their faith, and to leave a lasting legacy that will impact future generations. But fatherhood is not something we can do on our own. We need God's wisdom, strength, and grace to fulfill this calling. We need to lean on Him in prayer, seek His guidance in His Word, and rely on His power to help us be the fathers our children need us to be.